Even though I'm actually an online marketing guy and I've been doing this for the past decade, I've managed to scale my agency to 50K per month in 3 years without having to advertise myself once. And to this day, I've never actually had a business name, let alone advertise myself. So I've got a company name, but it's got nothing to do with my actual business. So people don't know my business name. If you don't know me, my name's Ben. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I own and operate an online marketing agency that I just run from my laptop. And without really knowing it, as I went along the journey, I was learning how to build an online business without the need for advertising, but also not needing to use those social media advertising avenues. You know, the ones that are like,
do you want a full calendar of appointment setters that will cram your entire life full of leads and make you want to throw up all over yourself?
I just never wanted to have to go down that avenue. And I'll be honest, I've never actually used any of those services, but I would rather, knowing what I know now, I would rather have my own knowledge about how to basically create business myself without the need to be able to use these outside services that honestly I just don't, something just feels off about them. I'm going to walk you through how I did it in a second, but I need to make a strong disclaimer here of what I'm about to share, because a proper business has predictable lead flow and a predictable sales funnel. And I would not in capitals, and plaster it on your forehead, rely on these methods, on what I'm about to share you, as predictable forms of income for your new business, for creating new business. Sitting there and hoping that business will just come to you is not a strategy. That is not a business. You have a delusion. So what I'm about to share with you is not something that I am going to say, utilize these methods as your only source of business, because I can almost guarantee you that that shit will hit the fan. Number one was I started by messaging everyone and took on anything. And I would message people on Instagram, Messenger. I asked my friends and my family if they knew anyone who wanted online marketing. I remember making an ad on Gumtree in 2010, trying to sell a website for a carpenter. Don't ask me, I don't know why it was a carpenter, it just was. And I was trying to learn how to build a website and then try and sell it, like pre-built and sell it. And I put it on Gumtree. And I got a phone call from a dude and I actually almost sold it. But the point is, I was just figuring stuff out as I went. I was willing to do anything, I didn't care. And I built skills in every area possible that I knew businesses could potentially need in online advertising. I didn't care what I took on or for what price either. I was doing SEO, I was doing Facebook ads, I was doing Google ads. I was doing just about everything and learning on the job. So I was learning on YouTube, I was learning as I went and just sort of tested things. And I didn't even care if I got rejected. I didn't care if I got paid or not, to be honest. Whatever they were willing to offer me, I was happy to take. And because I knew that every step that I took on getting better, I'd eventually get paid for my services and I wouldn't have to work a 9 to 5. To me, that was fucking heaven. I didn't care about any of the other stuff. One of my first ever deals was for an SEO deal that I got for $400 a month. And I did amazing work for that and got great results for it. It was worth more than $400 a month at the time, but it was $400 I was getting paid to sit on my laptop from home. So it was $400 I didn't have to do a 9 to 5 for. And I was in heaven because of that. All I had was my laptop, my phone, and hustle. That's all I had. And to this day, that still works. And it's a result of just being in more places more often. And I think young business owners, they don't want to spend the time doing hard stuff like talking to people because it's uncomfortable, like it sucks. In the early stages, if you don't do that, you don't really have any other avenues to start. Like you're not going to have money to run paid ads and do a whole strategy like that. I just was on the front foot and I didn't care what responses I got from people because I was absolutely hell-bent on making it work. And nowadays, I feel bad for almost new business owners now because social media pushes that it's a lot easier than it actually is. And I think Alex Hormozi says it best when he says people don't realize the volume that you need to do to be able to get a result. And it took me 3 years of constantly banging my head against the wall to try and reach out to people and create new business from nothing, just with my service. And I didn't have like a website or anything to be able to get going. So that first thing is, above all else, is what really laid the foundations to where I am now. Number 2 was referrals and word of mouth. And it took me probably, like I mentioned before, 3 years of messaging people and getting clients that would pay small amounts to get really good at what I was doing. And the 3 years of learning on the job allowed me to learn how to get highly skilled. And with the skill increase came better results. And as the better results came, I had happier customers, and they were more than happy to give like natural like referrals to friends or business connections of theirs. And a lot of my business, even to this day, comes from word of mouth. And like even a simple question has made me over 40K alone this year by itself on, hey, do you know anyone else who needs this service? Because usually they can think back and go, yeah, well, actually I do. And getting really good at what you do and actually giving a shit about your customer results is the precursor to making more money. You don't actually see it happening in the background, like it's like an unrealized effect. But as an example, my $400 a month client that I was telling you about earlier, when they told one of their e-commerce owner friends who was doing over $1 million a month at the time that I'm really good at SEO, and I end up signing that deal for $3K a month at the time. It was worth a lot more than that, trust me. I ended up getting that business and that money hit my bank account as a result of me doing good work for a $400 a month client. You realize how powerful it actually is. And the challenge with getting referrals is that you need to be good at what you do to get people their dream outcome so they tell your service to other people. And the only way you get better is by doing the reps. And those first two things are what really drove me at the very start. I was hellbent on getting new business, but I was also hellbent on getting good. So I was like, I don't want to be ever in a position where I sign someone and then I have this anxiety that I can't deliver it. Referrals come by getting good at your stuff, and that comes with reps. The third thing on this list is partnerships and mutual connections in parallel businesses. And partnerships have been by far my most profitable avenue to new business. Finding people who align with your service and seeing how you can mutually benefit each other. Really key, mutually benefit. An example of a great partnership is someone who can be aligned to your field, where you can create a win-win situation. For example, a friend of mine owns a creative agency and they help businesses execute social media strategy using high quality videography and photography that they do for them. And when they have a business or a customer that they currently utilize or currently serve, when they say, hey, do you do Facebook advertising as well? They can say yes, because they can start to refer that business to me as I am one of their add-on services. They don't predominantly do it and they don't predominantly say they do it, but I can do it. And then I implement that service for them. And the reason this works so well is because I get the deal to do the marketing and they come with good relationship and trust attached to that deal because they've already been working with my friend's agency. My friend's agency wins because they won't lose a client from not being able to fulfill an aligned service. And that's what I mean about creating a win-win. And the best way to find these partnerships is to start putting yourself in environments where people like you hang out. I'll give you an example. Last year, I went on a yacht trip to the Whitsundays with a group of other business owners, and I didn't know who they were, but because we all think alike, organically, I made friends with them. And the way that you find these groups is you need to put yourself in these environments with a good intent. I went on the yacht trip because I wanted to go on a fucking super yacht, not because I wanted to try and make business. I ended up connecting with people that I made great friends with. They trusted me as a result of that. And then organically, we created a business connection through doing that. And eventually now we've made, from these connections that I've made a lot of money together. And I say together because you don't go into it wanting to just win yourself. That it just doesn't work. People can smell it when your intent is not pure. And it's true for everything you do with other people. You're going to be so much better off if you do business with somebody that knows, likes, and trusts you. And they're going to trust you further to be able to fulfill a service that people actually need and that's going to help people in their world too and clients in their world. So if it feels forced, then likely it's just not going to work out in anyone's favor and nobody's going to end up winning. And these mutual connections that you build, usually it's a lot more fun. I believe business is meant to be fun, and it's a lot more fun to do business when you're doing it with your friends and people you trust and you're getting great results together. And then not only do you and your friend or whoever your partnership connection is, not only do you two win, but the client wins too because you're having fun doing it. So they're the three things that I did to build my business. And look, I'm not going to bullshit you either. Not advertising and building a business like this is great because I don't like phone calls. I don't like traditional marketing. I just don't enjoy talking to people who I don't know. The thing with that is I'm in a more fortunate position now where I have previous results from business that I've done over a decade. So keep that in mind as well. Business tends to fall in my lap because I've been doing this for so long. When you're building an online business, especially like an agency style business, you're going to be speaking with people who don't know you and who have no prior knowledge of you. So you're going to need to build sales skills with that. And I did that early days. I spoke to a lot of people who had no idea who I was because I was just willing to learn and exercise that muscle to be able to work it out. I need to obviously mention these things because it's not all rainbows and sunshine. The issue with the things that I've mentioned, it's not predictably scalable to do what I've mentioned. It's almost not a business because to predictably be able to grow, you need to have a proper sales funnel. And your natural churn of clients needs to be replaced by methods that are predictable, things that come into your world where you don't have to sit back. It will feel like you have to sit back and wait for it. And I'm in a position now where I have really high retention on my clients because I'm friends with all of them. We get great results and I've built that aura, I've built that business around me. And so that's why I'm saying you should only use these strategies that I've mentioned as a cherry on top to your business. And creating predictable marketing sources and funnels is going to be where you probably want to ensure that your business has growth without you having to sit back and wait for it. That's what I'm trying to say. If you use the methods that I have mentioned as superchargers for the business as a core, and I'll go into how to do the predictable marketing stuff as well. If you use what I've mentioned as the supercharger, as the cherry on top, as the thing that's just like, you're doing your predictable sources already. Like you're doing your sales funnels, you're doing your paid ads or whatever it is that's going to get people into your world so you can predictably sell them through a flywheel machine type situation. And then all of a sudden you're getting referrals because you do great work from partnerships, from word of mouth. That is just bonus stuff, and usually they're the highest retention, highest return type of deals anyway. I just wanted to leave you with that disclaimer because I don't want people thinking that I can build a 50K per month business just using those things alone. It just doesn't happen. And it can happen, but it's not predictable. That's what I'm trying to say. That's how I built my business to 50K. I didn't advertise once. Here we are, absolutely. And these things 100% work. I've been in this game a long, long time. So I know how to do the other side of it. I just don't enjoy doing it, to be honest. Could I do it to be able to double the size of my business? Absolutely. Do I want to? Absolutely not. I'm sitting at about, I think I did last month, 58,500, which is nothing to be sneezed at. And I'm really proud of what I built, but I have no interest in creating more team, more people inside of my world, which is just more stress. And I like to keep things light. I like to keep things nimble. I like to keep things simple, and simplicity sometimes goes out the window when you scale harder. And I learnt that when I tried to, because I just stopped enjoying business altogether. It's meant to be fun. So I hope this was somewhat helpful and valuable, and I'll see you in the next one.